I'm Andrew Kirsch. I spent just under a decade as an intelligence officer with the Canadian Security Intelligence Service. And I want to talk about the foreign influence inquiry, the public inquiry that's currently going on, the testimony that we had from our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, and the CSIS Director, David Vigneault, and the contradictions between the two. We have, on one hand, the government that's saying we did not receive these briefs. The information that we're receiving now is not what we heard, that we don't necessarily read the briefs, but we get verbal briefs, and those conversations are different than what is being presented here in the inquiry. And on the other hand, we have the CSIS director who is saying, look, I made the government aware that these conversations happened on numerous occasions, and the government knew, for all intents and purposes, the government knew what was happening. And I don't know why we would be debating the minutia of did the government read this report or that report. I mean, the fact of the matter is that CSIS is mandated to investigate threats to the security of Canada that includes foreign influence activities, that this is a core part of CSIS's mandate. This type of information is serious and would rise up the ranks to the National Security Intelligence Advisor and the government. And if the government did not know, it is because they didn't want to know. I mean, let's be perfectly clear. The government is the client. CSIS is providing information to its client. CSIS provides briefs of the frequency, in the type, whoever the client wants it. If the client asks more information, CSIS will get them more information. If the client wants clarification, CSIS will happily clarify what is there. If the client, the government, is not receiving information, it is because they don't want it. If they're not, if they are unclear, it's because they don't want to be clear. CSIS does not keep things from the government. CSIS serves the government. So this idea that they can be willfully blind or ignorant is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay. We have a government that is not taking this threat seriously, either through being naive to the threat, being unwilling or lacking creativity to mitigate the threat. But they cannot be accused of not knowing about it, or at least having that be somebody else's responsibility. Okay. The service, CSIS, serves the pleasure of its client. That's it. That is the relationship. CSIS advises, government decides. They can have a conversation about recommendations, but at the end of the day, that is on government, period. And for anyone who thinks I'm being unfair or selective, let me tell you, all along, this is a universal threat. Our adversaries do not care about which government is in place in terms of they will attempt to influence every government, every level of government, every party. They don't need to turn elections. They just need to get a few key people who are interested or care about or advocate for the causes they believe in into influential roles. They don't care what party that is. They don't necessarily need to turn over the whole election to accomplish the influence and the interference that they want. It is not a challenge unique to this government. It is a Canadian challenge. But this is the government that we have. They are the ones who receive the information. They are the ones who are responsible for taking measures to protect us from it. And the next government will be on the hook whenever that comes. Okay? All levels of government, all parties, our entire country is at this risk. Unless we take it seriously, unless our leaders take it seriously, and we hold them accountable for what they do or do not do to keep our country, our democracy safe, then it's going to keep happening. Okay. And it's going to get worse. Because like any bully, they will take as much advantage as they can until they get pushed back. So please, 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 let's take this seriously. Let's really start to take this seriously. We can no longer, as a country, claim we didn't know. We can no longer say we were unaware. Okay, it's happening. And if anyone from here on out says, I didn't know, it's because they didn't want to know. And that is also a problem. End of rant. Till next time, questions, comments, info@kirschgroup.com. Like, subscribe, and stay safe. Speak soon.